Welcome back, students. So let's continue the next part of this chapter, birth. In the previous video module, we have discussed that Dr. Andrew Manson, when he examined the case, especially Susan Morgan, wife of Joe Morgan, that time he understood that there is some period of waiting, especially for the birth of a child. So that's why he went downstairs, plus what he did then he took a cup of tea later on. See now. But in between we have discussed Susan Morgan's mother, that she was worried. Why? Because she thought that Dr. Andrew Manson, that he would leave the case by saying that he would return later. But Dr. Andrew Manson, he assured her that don't faint, mother, I will not run away. Then later on, what happened? Now, an hour later, he went upstairs because he was waiting downstairs. So then, an hour later, he went upstairs again, noted the progress made. He saw the condition of a mother, especially Susan Morgan, and came down once again. Sat by the kitchen fire. It was still, except for the rustle of a cinder in the grate. Cinder means here partly burnt piece of coal that he was waiting downstairs. He sat near of a grate. Grate means here a fireplace, that he sat there waiting, and there was only the rustle of cinders in the grate, in the fireplace, and the slow tick-tock of the wall clock. Only that was the sound. Which sound? The sound of the coal of a cinder in the grate and the tick-tock of the wall clock. No, there was another sound, but one more sound was there, which the beat of Morgan's footsteps as he paced in the street outside. The beat of his footsteps, Morgan's footstep, who was waiting outside. Why? Because he was in a tense stress about the health of his wife plus his coming child. So now the old woman opposite him sat in her black dress. The old woman was there, quite motionless, still, and her eyes strangely alive and wise, probing, never leaving his face. Probing means she was examining Dr. Andrew's face. His thoughts were heavy now. Who? Dr. Andrew's thoughts. Muddled. M-U-D-D-L-E-D. Muddled means confused. Muddled. The episode he had witnessed at Cardiff station. See now, Dr. Andrew was waiting downstairs for the birth of a child. And when he was sitting there, when he sat, that time once again that he started thinking. He contemplated what? The episode which he had witnessed at the Cardiff station. Still obsessed him morbidly. Obsessed means still filled his mind, occupied his mind. What? Morbidly. Morbidly means here negatively. That episode which he had witnessed where at Cardiff station obsessed him morbidly, sadly. He thought of Bramwell, foolishly devoted to a woman who deceived him sordidly. Sitting there at the fireplace, that he thought of whom Bramwell, that who devoted to a woman who deceived him sordidly. Sordidly means immorally plus unpleasantly, that the lady deceived but still he devoted to a woman. Of Edward Page, bound to the Shrewish bloodvein of Denny, living unhappily apart from his wife. And he was also thinking about Edward Page, the man who was living apart from his wife there. It means he was thinking about the marriage life there. Unhappy marriage life apart from his wife. His reason told him that all these marriages were dismal failures. Dismal means here miserable plus disappointing, according to whatever he had witnessed. Yet Dr. Andrew Manson, so he thought that all marriages that they were dismal failures. It means disappointing or the miserable failures. Now it was a conclusion which in his present state made him wince Wince means here feel pain, and this was the present state which made him wince there. He wished to consider marriage as an idyllic state. Idyllic means happy and perfect, peaceful. He wished to consider marriage means a kind of idyllic state or the happy, perfect, peaceful state. Then, yes, he could not otherwise consider it with Christine, it with the image of Christine before him. Christine is a friend, girlfriend. Now her eyes shining towards him admitted no other conclusion. It was the conflict between his level, doubting mind, and his overflowing heart. It means his emotional heart, which left him resentful and confused. Resentful means feel angry and confused. Still he was confused about the marriage, and so that's why he contemplated over different examples about his Dr. Edward Page plus his friend Bramwell, all these things there. Now he let his chin sink upon his chest. He was sitting there, stretched out his legs, stared broodingly into the fire. Broodingly means here sadly. He was looking into the fire, and now he remained like this so long, and his thoughts were so filled with Christine and sitting downstairs waiting for the birth of a child that he started thinking about Christine. That he started when the old woman opposite suddenly addressed, but at the same time when he was contemplated, when he was thinking, that time the old woman suddenly called him, addressed him, that her meditation had pursued a different course. Pursued means followed a different course. Now this is what, when he was waiting downstairs, the description is given. He thought over failure marriages of his friends or the doctors, about his friend Christine, that he also mused there. He thought over all these things there, and then later on the old woman, that she addressed him there. So this is what the next part we have discussed here. Now children, the next content of this remaining content of this chapter we will continue in the next video module. Thank you students.